Can I overcome my own addiction while working to stop others? You are standing in a federal courthouse hallway. You are wearing a suit. You have a badge. You just watched the man get sentenced to 11 years for distribution of the exact substance currently sitting in a folded paper in your inside jacket pocket. You shook the prosecutor's hand afterward. You told her it was a good day for justice. Then you walked to the nearest bathroom, locked the door, and used it. Stay with me, because this is a story of what happens when the answer is barely. You grew up in a mid-sized American town where nothing much happened and nobody expected it to. Your father was a delivery driver. Your mother ran the front desk at the county health department. Clean people, quiet people. Every Sunday, your dad made instant coffee in a chipped blue ceramic mug, the same one, always, and read the newspaper cover to cover like it was scripture. You used to steal sips when he wasn't looking. Bitter. Terrible. You thought it was the best thing in the world. You were 7 years old and you were already practicing at wanting things that weren't meant for you yet. You are not a natural student. You are a stubborn one, which is better. State University. Criminal justice. You highlighted every page of every textbook until your highlighters ran dry. Other students partied on Thursday nights. You read case law. Not because you were a saint, because you had a specific, burning, almost embarrassing goal: federal law enforcement. You wanted to go after the architects, the distributors, the money launderers, the people at the top who never touched the product. You were 20 years old and you talked about justice like it was simple. That is extremely funny in retrospect. 18 months of applications, background checks, polygraphs, fitness evaluations, and psychological screenings. You pass everything. The day you are sworn in as a DEA special agent, your father drives 4 hours in his delivery truck. Still had the truck, still had the route, still woke up at 4:30 to stand in a government ceremony room and watch you raise your right hand. Afterward, he doesn't make a speech. He drives 4 hours back that same evening because he has deliveries in the morning. But before he goes, he puts the chipped blue mug on your hotel nightstand and nods once. You still hear that nod. Your first 3 years are clean in every sense of the word. Surveillance operations, trafficking arrests, evidence processing. You work an average of 60 hours a week and you don't complain about it because the work feels like it matters. You drink coffee constantly, always black, always in a mug that's close to but never quite the same as the chipped blue one back home. You have a small apartment, no serious relationships, no hobbies that aren't work adjacent. You run 3 miles every morning because it keeps you sharp, not because you enjoy it. This is the version of you that you will spend years trying to get back to. Pay attention to him. Year 4. Your supervisor calls you in and closes the door. You've had closed-door meetings before. This one has a different temperature. He slides a folder across the desk. Surveillance photos of a mid-level cartel distribution cell operating inside the city. 6 weeks, maybe 8, undercover. You'd play the money side contact, a buyer with connections. He tells you your profile is the best fit. Clean record, forgettable face. He says that as a genuine compliment. You open the folder and look at the photos. You know before you finish reading that you're going to say yes. You also know 6 weeks is never 6 weeks. They rebuild you from scratch. New name, new phone, new backstory with 3 layers of fake history. You trade the badge for a burner and the dress shirts for a worn black leather jacket that smells like cigarettes and someone else's bad decisions. Your real wallet goes in an evidence locker. The new wallet has a fake ID and $300 in cash. You spend 2 days memorizing who you are now. Then you drive to a parking garage on level 3 and meet the cell's contact for the first time. He looks at you for 30 seconds before he says anything. Then he tests you, twice. You pass both times. In the car afterward, your hands are shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline. You notice you like that feeling more than you want to admit. Week 3. The contact invites you to what he calls a gathering. It is not a gathering. It is a back room with 4 men you've never seen and 1 you have, and the purpose is to watch how you behave in an uncontrolled environment. Someone passes something around the circle. You've rehearsed your refusal for situations exactly like this. You start to say it, then the contact looks at you and says that passing makes people uncomfortable and makes them ask why. You do the math in 3 seconds. 8 months of operation. Cover blown. Everyone walks. You take it. You tell yourself this is fieldcraft. The oldest lie in the world still sounds reasonable the first time you tell it. 9 weeks, 6 arrests, significant seizure. Your supervisor calls it the cleanest undercover operation in 4 years and shakes your hand on the courthouse steps. You smile. You file every report. You debrief for 3 hours. At no point do you mention the back room. One blank section in one form. You tell yourself it was a field call, necessary, isolated. But you already know. You knew that same night that the thing that happened in that back room didn't leave when the operation ended. It followed you home, and it's been sitting there ever since, quiet and patient, like something that knows it has time. 6 months after the operation closes, you still run 3 miles every morning. You tell yourself this proves you are in control. You are not in control. You shower, you dress, you make coffee in a mug that's close to but never quite the same as the chipped blue one back home. You noticed the difference the first time you used it, and you've never stopped noticing. Then, before you leave for the office, you do the other thing. You've learned to dose it carefully, just enough to feel level, just enough to function without the edge of withdrawal anxiety creeping under your collar during the afternoon briefings. You call this management. You are wrong about that. At work, you are giving the performance of your career. You sit in briefings and you are sharp, actually sharp. You contribute precisely the right observations at precisely the right moments. There's a terrible private irony in this that you catalog and never share. The substance that ends federal careers is, at this exact dosage, making you better at your federal career. You catch a mid-level distributor, clean evidence, clean arrest, textbook. Your supervisor puts you forward for a commendation. You accept it, shake the right hands, say the right things. And that evening, you sit in your car in the parking garage and laugh once, alone, in a way that has nothing happy in it. The DEA knows the distribution networks of the city better than anyone. The problem with that when you are also a customer is that you cannot buy from anyone connected to an active case file. You cannot be seen in any location under surveillance. You cannot use the same source twice within 30 days. So you have built a careful, rotating supply chain with 5 separate disconnected contact points, each purchased in a different neighborhood, each time to avoid any pattern that could surface in an analysis. You wrote it on a hand-drawn map in a notation system you invented. You are applying 4 years of federal investigative methodology to not getting caught buying drugs. If this weren't your actual life, you would find it genuinely impressive. Month 8. A junior agent on your team, 2 years in, still press shirts, still takes notes by hand, mentions in passing that you've missed 2 consecutive mandatory random drug testing windows. Just mentioned it, casually. You say administrative error. You reschedule. You manage the timeline, but for the rest of that day, he watches you the way you used to watch suspects before you had enough to move on them. Not aggressive, just attentive. You know that look. You spent 3 years building that look. You go home and sit on your kitchen floor and stare at the refrigerator for 20 minutes and don't move. A new case lands on your desk. A supplier, mid-high level. You pull the surveillance file, and there, in the background of a parking lot photo, time-stamped 6 weeks ago, is a location you recognize. Not the target, the background. A convenience store on the rotation. Your hands go cold. Not shaking, cold. You sit still at your desk and count 63 seconds because that is how long it takes you to decide. If this case moves forward and surveillance expands, you're in the background of something, maybe more. You have watched enough people unravel an investigation to know exactly what the thread looks like before someone pulls it. You pull yourself onto the case as lead. You tell yourself it is damage control. It is also a federal crime. You are the lead investigator on a case in which you are a witness, possibly a suspect. Over 3 weeks, you redirect 2 surveillance camera angles through administrative amendments that look routine. You steer one witness interview away from a location by suggesting the witness's credibility is better established elsewhere, which is true, technically, and also completely serves your purposes. You mislabel a parking lot timestamp and refile it under a closed case number. You are calm throughout all of it, methodical. You use the same skills that earned you 3 commendations to commit 3 separate acts of obstruction. You note, privately, that at least your work is consistent. Your body has started submitting its own reports. You have dropped 14 pounds in 11 weeks. Your hands shake every morning until the first dose, which you have started taking earlier to stop the shaking before you leave for work. You wear long sleeves in July. On a surveillance run, your heart spikes so hard you pull over 4 blocks from the target location and sit on the curb for 9 minutes, head down, breathing through it, pretending to check your phone. A woman walking her dog stops and asks if you are all right. You say yes, fine, thank you. She does not look convinced. A retired woman with a terrier on a Tuesday afternoon reads you better than the entire DEA. You find this extremely humbling. The junior agent files a report. Not about drugs, not directly, about case file inconsistencies. 2 internal affairs investigators arrive on a Tuesday morning. They are pleasant. They use your first name. They offer you coffee. You know this technique because you have used this technique. You lower nothing. Your explanation for the mislabeled file is clean and specific because you drafted it 22 days ago when you decided this meeting was coming. They write it down, thank you, shake your hand, and leave. You sit back down at your desk. You know they will come back. You knew this since the moment you filed that timestamp. One night, one specific night, you come very close. It is 2 a.m. and you have taken too much, and your heart is doing something that does not feel like a heart anymore. And you are sitting on the edge of your bed in the dark and you pick up your phone. The employee assistance hotline number has been in your contacts for 2 years. You have never opened it. You open it. You hold the phone. Your thumb is above the call button. You can hear rain on the window. You can feel your own pulse in your fingertips. Your thumb stays there for 40 seconds. Then you put the phone on the nightstand, face down, and lie back and stare at the ceiling. The fear of losing the badge is bigger than the fear of what is happening to your body. That is the most honest thing you have ever known about yourself. You wish it were not. The mandatory drug test comes on a Thursday, and the junior agent has specifically flagged it to HR so there's no administrative window to work with. You go in. The whole process takes about 45 seconds. You sit in the collection room for 8 minutes because you already know, and once you walk out, the clock starts. 48 hours later, your supervisor calls you into his office and closes the door. You have been in that chair before, on the other side of good news. You know the difference immediately. The folder on his desk is not a case file. He slides it across without looking at you. They offer you the agreement before the criminal referral. Voluntary residential treatment, full cooperation with internal affairs, and the obstruction charge goes to probation rather than prosecution. You take it. The facility is a converted ranch outside the city. Clean air, pine trees, a morning schedule built on meals, group sessions, and long walks on gravel paths where phones are not allowed. The first week, you are too sick to think about anything except the next hour. By week 2, you start thinking. That is the hardest part. Thinking means accounting. And the accounting, when you finally sit with it, is enormous. Every form you filed, every case you bent, every person you put in a cell for what you were also doing. The math is very, very bad. 90 days. Probation, not prison. The career is finished. Federal law enforcement, everything you built since you were 22 years old, is over. What remains is a studio apartment, a probation check-in every 2 weeks, and the job offer from a nonprofit doing peer recovery counseling. You take the job. Your first morning there, you make coffee in the break room. The mug they hand you is plain, dark, slightly chipped at the handle. It is not your father's mug, but it is close enough that you stand there for a long moment, holding it with both hands, feeling the warmth through the ceramic, and you breathe. You went into federal law enforcement to stop people from being destroyed by this thing. You still are, just from the other side of it. Differently. The difference between you and the people you once put in handcuffs is smaller than the badge made it feel. You know that now. You carry it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.